Have you ever thought about your retirement age and what you will look like, what problems you will face, and what your joys and sorrows will be? According to the experts, we should do this to identify with our future selves enough to be able to sustain saving and providing for ourselves in the long term in old age. At 20, 30 or 40, it is difficult to imagine retirement age, right? Money in old age can afford us better healthcare, the ability to buy more expensive drugs. Having enough money will protect us from inflation and help us live out the autumn of our lives with dignity and without fear. Retirement age is not the end of our lives. Instead, for many people, it is an open door to travel and spend time with their grandchildren or simply any leisure activity we feel like doing. We will have an unlimited amount of free time and we will address the questions of how to fill that time. Welcome to my Invest with Jiri channel. Today we are going to get into the dense topic of financial security for retirement with imaginary Mike. We'll look at how different views of retirement age are at different times in our lives and try to determine how to ensure a happy retirement age so that we don't lose the ability to function to our full potential. Let's do this. If we are teenagers, then our ideas about saving for retirement will be very different from a person who is just approaching retirement age. Young people between the ages of 18 and 25 are very optimistic about retirement, and you could say they don't even think about it. It's nowhere in sight. The limit of the perception of the need for retirement and savings appears somewhere around the age of 30 and 40, when we have a stable job and a prosperous business and are economically active. Later in life, we begin to encounter fatigue, illness and all physical problems, and the more we begin to realize that old age is an inherent part of our lives, and we would do well to be prepared for it. Ideas about when to retire and how much to save also vary in different economic cycles and political situations. We saw this recently with the COVID pandemic, when many people lost their jobs and many companies had to close down. The current downturn in economic activity is not conducive to positive sentiment in society, and together with high inflation, this creates a mix of events that I summarized in a recent video on the stock market. Many Americans think the ideal amount for a happy retirement is $1 million. Well, it's a round number, a great value, it looks good. Are we taking into account inflation and the devaluation of money? Changes in society, longer active lives where we want to work because we enjoy work and have the energy to do it? I like to get to the problem of defining specific amount because it doesn't seem realistic to me. It's impossible to think that $1 million is sufficient. Why not 2 million or 5 million? Moreover, we should logically conclude that sticking to a fixed amount doesn't make sense. Life is change and permanent change at that. It can be predicted, but it is a changing process. Nothing is permanent. And that's why we should go about it differently. I think it's better to ask questions how we maintain our current standard of living and how much money do we need per month to do that. That is, we are at the question of what are the expenses that we need to have covered each month and how do we provide a monthly income in retirement. We have to start investing. In this context, an explanation of the 4% rule is offered, where we can withdraw 4% from our investment portfolio each year, and the portfolio will still grow in value because the average appreciation of the S&P 500 index, which is the market benchmark, is 7% including inflation of 3%. Let's use Mike as a demonstration. He is 40 years old And since he wants to retire at 67, he has 27 years to figure it out and cover his retirement cost with money saved and invested. But how to do that? Mike calculates that his monthly expenses are $1,500, and knowing the 4% rule, he knows that he needs to have $450,000 invested to afford to maintain his standard of living. How did he figure that out? The calculation is as follows: 1,500 times 12 months equals $18,000, and this is his annual spending amount. 18,000 divided 4% times 100 equals $450,000, and this is the amount of the investment portfolio that Mike needs to get to. Fortunately, he doesn't have to save the whole amount by saving and saving, but compound interest will be a crucial help. If Mike has built up a portfolio of $450,000 at age 67, he can withdraw $18,000 from it each year and divide it over 12 months, which works out to $1,500. Plus, his portfolio, according to long-term statistic, will grow in value because he will not withdraw the full 7% of average appreciation annually, but only 4%, where his portfolio will appreciate by the remaining 3% annually. Warning! We are talking about 7% appreciation here, which is inflation adjusted, meaning it is the same value of money in the future and today. You may be wondering, based on the above, do I have to retire at 67? Isn't it possible to stop actively working earlier? Yes, it's possible, and it's even the main idea behind the whole financial independent retire early movement. In short, people find a well-paid job, often in the IT field, reduce the expenses to a minimum, spending only maybe 30%, and invest most of the income. As a result, they get to retire at 30 or 40. Retirement here means covering living expenses through investments. Once they have done this, they are freer to decide what to do and how to spend their day, whether with family, friends, relaxation or work. It's true freedom. Hey, okay, but that would only be a half-truth. How does Mike get to $450,000 when he starts saving and investing in his 40s? He uses a compound interest calculator to do this, entering an initial amount of $0, he starts with $0, and an appreciation of 7%, the market average, and a number of years, 27. He tries several times to enter a monthly amount to invest until he finally gets to $470. If he regularly invests $470 per month in stocks or an index from now until he is 67, he will reach $450,000. For simplicity of calculation, I do not include taxes. What else is interesting about this way of providing for old age? The entire portfolio, you can have your spouse or children transfer it to them and they can increase its value, or like you, draw down 4% a year and add a few $100s to your income. The ideal situation to break up family. As I said at the beginning, one tends to downplay the distant future and procrastinate, but every year wasted counts and can mean several $1,000s of loss in the future. Therefore, take care to provide for your old age as early as possible so that you don't have to spend so much money to cover your needs. The later you start, the more difficult it will be to reach your financial goals. I hope you enjoyed the video on financial preparation for retirement. As I say, the important thing is to get started. Personally, I'm at an age where questions about saving for retirement abound. I perceive that the issue of providing for retirement is becoming more and more pressing in the context of declining support from the state's retirement system. Have a great time, and if you like the video, please give it a like. I look forward to the next time and invest wisely.